Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is not really going to be super makeup related, actually, at all. But basically, as the title probably suggests, this is going to be my 2020 New Year's resolutions. And for this, I'm going to go into all kinds of resolutions, like not just makeup related, although I'll touch on like a makeup one, but that one's pretty obvious already because you've probably seen my other videos. But I'm just gonna go into like my personal goals for 2020, and I guess this is mainly just to kind of keep me accountable, because you know how it is, like with resolutions, it's like once you say them out loud, you're kind of like, oh shit, like now I've committed, like now I have to follow through, or like people are gonna call me out on it and stuff. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, because it's like, you know, if you don't reach your goal, you don't need someone shoving that in your face. So it's okay. Like, I want everyone to know that it's okay if you did not, you know, hit your goals for 2019, or if you're like a little bit worried about setting expectations for 2020 because you don't want people to judge you and stuff. And like, it's really fine. Like, nobody reaches all their goals ever. Like, they just keep it to themselves. So if you've said something about, I want to do this in 2019, or I want to do this in 2020, and you don't get there, like, don't feel like you're a failure. You're really not a failure for that. And that's the mindset I'm taking into my 2020 goals, because I probably won't hit them all, and that's totally okay. Like, I'm totally fine with that. So I'm gonna start with, I guess, because you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna start with like my goals relating to the topic, like the subject matter of my YouTube channel, which is like mainly beauty and like makeup and stuff. And the only one I really have is my Project Pan, which I'm sure you've seen in my other video, which is basically trying to use up all the eyeshadow that I already own and not buying new stuff. So this, as many of you know, like those of us who watch a lot of beauty videos and makeup videos on YouTube, it's very, very tempting when you see all these new products. You just like want to buy it, like you really want to buy it. So I guess I'm still finding the right structure for my resolution. Like I know the general idea is like spend less money on makeup and use up the makeup I already have. That's like the overarching idea. But I want to set, I find with goals, if you don't get very, very precise, it's a lot harder to stick to them. Like, so I want to make rules for myself on this. And I'm leaning towards, like, I think I'm going to make it along the lines of like, I can't buy any new makeup until I hit pan on at least one, like I have to hit pan. Like, so basically if I need a new makeup product, like I have to first hit pan on a shadow before I go and buy a new palette. And I know that sounds like not, I don't know, it doesn't sound like it's really being fair, because like hitting pan on one shadow doesn't really justify buying an entire palette of like 16 new shadows just because you hit pan on one. But it takes me a long time to hit pan, you guys. So like, that is gonna really, really help, because I probably will only hit pan on like maybe 6 shadows all year. And like, that's if I'm trying hard. So like, once I get busy in the summer with work, I'm probably not going to be trying that hard. So it probably realistically won't be 6 shadows. It'll probably be like 3. I would love for it to be more, but like basically I'm sort of leaning towards the idea of I'm only going to buy a new makeup product if I hit pan on a shadow. So I'm still formulating the exact rules behind that one, but that's kind of like the general idea. So that's that one. I wrote these down in bullet points so that I wouldn't forget. My next one is sort of, again, it's not really like a resolution exactly, because it's more of an overarching like theme of 2020 and just going forward in my life, trying to be a better person, you know. And that is to just try and be more open and more transparent with people in my life and with you guys. And just, I mean, I don't want to start like oversharing. So like, I think it's important to keep some things in your life private. But those of you who know me in real life know that when I was younger, like before college and stuff, like high school and middle school and stuff, like I took keeping things private to a whole nother level, which was I was basically just a quiet, shy, never spoke to anybody person. And there's, I think, everything in moderation, right? So I feel like don't just share everything in your life that doesn't necessarily need to be shared, but like don't be what I was in high school, which is I did not talk to anybody. Nobody knew who I was. Like people knew who I was. Like if they saw me walking by, they knew who I was. Some people, but like they didn't know anything about me. Like I didn't talk to anybody. I had my small group of friends, and they kind of knew me, and like they kind of knew who I was as a person and stuff like that. But I had a lot of like the majority of people I went to school with and growing up, like pretty much my whole life, like even going back to like elementary school and stuff, like I just feel like I was just that wallflower that like nobody ever really knew much about. So I'm trying to change that because I feel like that doesn't help. You know, you need people in your life. And yeah, so I'm just trying to be more open and more transparent about like who I am, because you get to a certain age, like once you're an adult like I am, where you just kind of feel like, what is the point? Like, what am I doing if people don't even know who, like, there's just like, I feel like it's human nature to like want to be understood. And if you don't ever open your mouth and talk, nobody's gonna know you. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna like, and it's off-putting. Like, and I've come to that realization as well, that like what I thought was just from my perspective, being shy was just, it was a defensive thing. Like I was afraid to kind of be vocal and say anything because I was afraid of being judged by other people. But I think that the way it was perceived was not really that way. Like I think a lot of people perceived it as me being standoffish and just disengaged and uninterested and like just kind of bitchy and mean and quiet, and because I didn't care. And that's not what it was. It was not, I was not being quiet and not talking to people because I wasn't interested in getting to know people. I wasn't being shy because I like wanted you to leave me alone. Like that is probably how it came across, and that's not the case. In fact, it was almost the exact opposite. I was like desperately hoping people would just talk to me. But I didn't want to, I was too scared and shy to like make the first move and like say anything, say hello to people. Like I would walk by people I knew and like it was obvious we knew each other. Like I recognized them and I wouldn't even say hi. And like, so I can see how that came across as rude. Like it is rude. But I didn't mean it in a rude way. I was just like in my head when I would walk by people that I recognized at school and stuff, in my head all I was thinking was like, if I say hi, like they're gonna think that's weird. Like I don't know them well enough. Like they're gonna be like, who do you think you are? You're not our friend. Like I just felt like this intense fear of rejection and ridicule and being judged by other people, if I even said hi. So it was like pretty crippling. Like it was pretty bad. And then yeah, so as I've grown up, I've kind of realized how that comes across, and that's not the kind of person I want people to think I am. That's not the kind of person I want to be, and that's not the kind of persona I want to put out there. And like the general vibe I want to put out there is that like I don't want people to think that I don't want to get to know you. I want to get to know everybody. Like I love getting to know people, and I'm tired of my friends having to say, and my family having to say to people, oh, she's really nice once you like get to know her, because I don't want it to be like a barrier. I don't want it to be like, oh, well, you have to get past her like bitchy exterior, you know what I mean? Like that's not fun. And to be honest, like nobody has time for that. So like I don't want to be that like hard outer shell of a person you have to crack through, because like nobody wants to do that. So I don't want to make people do that, or you know, this is getting weird. I'm going to stop talking about this now, but that's kind of my overall goal for just like personally. I have a few other personal ones, but they're a little more shallow than like, not quite as like in depth as that. But for now I'm just gonna skip over that like whole section, get back to those near the end. But my house goal, I have a house goal. So you can see behind me, this is my kitchen, this is my house. So my husband and I bought this house a few years ago, and we love it, and it's we got a new build, so there wasn't like a lot of work to be done to it. Like everything was pretty much already brand new. So I don't have like a ton of like house goals because nothing really needs to be renovated, like none of that. But there is one thing that I'm hoping happens in 2020, and that is like a deck. Like we have a walkout lot, so right now I'm facing a sliding door that walks out to nothing. Like it literally is just, it's a sliding glass door. And you open it, and if you take a step out, you fall to your death because it's like a whole story up. It's designed to have a deck there. Is my point. And I love being outside in the summertime. Like I love enjoying the good weather when we finally have it. Because living here in Canada, it's like we only get so much nice weather. So I want to be able to enjoy that with a deck, and we've always kind of had that plan in mind to have a deck. But then when we started looking into it, we realized how freaking expensive it is to build a deck. Like we had like an idea in our heads, like, oh, it's gonna be X amount of money, like, and it was a lot. And we were like, okay, let's like plan for like that amount of money. And then we went and got an actual quote, and it was like double what we thought it was gonna be. So I guess we were just naive, or it was mostly me. I mean, my husband Jeff kind of said like, no, it's going to be more than that. And I was like, no, it won't. No, it won't. And then I got a quote, and it was. And I was like, okay, well, fine. So goal of the year for the house is to finally build the deck. That would be amazing. So that is that goal. Let's talk about my work goals. So, as you guys probably already know, I'm a wedding photographer. That's what I do for a living. I am a sole proprietor. Basically, I have my own business. It's not a corporation. I don't have employees. It's just me, but it is like I'm an entrepreneur. Basically, I work for myself. So I have a couple of goals, work-related goals, for my business this year. And that is, number one is to book 20 of my own weddings for 2020. This is going to be hard. I don't know if I'm going to reach it. I would love to. I'm already very close. I've booked 14 weddings of my own for next year. So I just need 6 more. So I think it's doable, like it's realistic, but at the same time, like the further, like people tend to book their wedding photographers like a long time in advance. So I have a general idea of like roughly how busy I'm going to be in 2020 already, which is good. And I would love to just add 6 more and then call it a day, because that would be amazing if I could get 20 of my own weddings, because I am still second shooting for other photographers. I'm still working for a production company in my city that is like a lower budget wedding photography company. And so like that's going to fill up any dates that I don't book myself. So if I could just book the 20 of my own, I would be set for the year. Like that would be fantastic. So that's one of my work goals. The other one's kind of like a silly, really just, I hate to even call it a work goal because it really doesn't reflect much on my business exactly, but I want to reach 20,000 followers on my business Instagram account. So I have like a work Instagram account, like for all my wedding photography stuff, and I'm at about 12,000 followers right now. And I'm hoping by the end of next year, I'll be at 20,000. That would be so cool. I mean, that's really just like superficial. Like it doesn't necessarily reflect on how many bookings I'm going to get or anything. It's just kind of just for bragging rights, basically, to be like, oh, look how many followers I have, which is like so stupid and dumb. But it's just kind of fun to like work towards a goal in terms of follower count. So that's that one. And then I have 2 more goals that are like basically more personal goals. So the first one is to not drink for 2020. And this is like an ongoing goal for me because this is not something I've ever shared publicly. So this is kind of weird for me to even say on camera. But as per my goal of being more open and more transparent, I am going to do it anyway. So I am a recovering alcoholic. I have been alcohol free. I've been sober, and I don't do drugs either. Like I don't smoke pot or any other kind of drugs. So I'm fully sober. When I say I'm sober, it means like from everything, but like I've never been I've never really done drugs. Like it's not really my thing. So that was never like a struggle for me. Alcohol was a struggle for me. Alcohol became a problem in my life. And so I have been alcohol free. I've been sober for a little bit over a year now, which was a big deal for me. And so that is basically a constant resolution going forward in my life for until the end of time, because I can't drink. So it's just to maintain my sobriety for all of 2020, and then I'm gonna repeat for 2021 and 2022 and until the day I die, basically. So that's kind of that. And the last goal I have is just like the cliche weight loss goal that everybody has. It's not a big one. I just want to lose 10 pounds. It's not a huge deal if I don't reach that goal. I'm not gonna like feel too badly about it. I'm not so heavy that like I'm not at a weight where it's like a health risk or anything like that at all. Like I wouldn't even consider myself to be like overweight. I'm just like a little bit chunkier than I would like to be, and maybe that's because all my life I was like the skinny girl. Like I was always very, very thin naturally and didn't have to try. I never had to go to the gym. I never had to work out. I never had to watch what I ate, and I would just always be naturally skinny. And I look back at old pictures. I brought up this picture just to show you guys, because I'm sure you're probably like, what do you mean? Like, how skinny? And like, this is how skinny I was. So like, as you can see, like the width of my face is like wider than the width of my waist. Like this is an old picture of me. It makes me sad every time I see it, because I'm like, oh, I don't look like that anymore. And I wish I did, because I mean, obviously I've aged as well. So like, I'm never gonna look like I did when I was, however old I was in that picture. I think I was about 19 or 20. And so I don't look like that anymore. And I don't really want to look like that anymore. Like that, I was so skinny back then that it was like borderline unhealthy. Like I would go to the doctor and the doctor would say like, you're underweight, and like if you could put on a little bit of weight, that would be healthier. So I don't have any desire to go back to that weight. In that picture, I was probably 100 pounds, probably 100 pounds. And I'm not 100 pounds now. So I do have a goal weight in mind. It's about 10 pounds less than what I am now. So that's kind of my goal. So I'm hoping by the end of 2020, I will be 10 pounds less than I am now. And I'm not going to tell you how much that is. So, you can just guess. But yeah, so that's just another kind of like personal kind of self-care goal. So that's it. Those are so far my goals for 2020. My resolutions, my New Year's resolutions. So I would really, really like to hear everyone else's resolution. If you want to comment in the comment section below, like what is something you're trying to work on for 2020? And if you don't have one yet, get one, because like I feel like it's such a good idea to just like be constantly trying to improve yourself. Like why not, you know? So again, but don't feel the pressure like to make sure you do it. Like I bet half of these I probably won't even accomplish. Like it'd be amazing if I did, but I'm trying to set my expectations low so that like I'm still working towards it, but I'm not gonna be devastated if I don't get there. So that's it for this video, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed hearing a little bit about my 2020 resolutions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.